Welcome back, mes amis. Here we have somewhat of a breather compared to the last two levels. Chapter 11. You need to assault a fort and capture another throne, but the chapter will throw a couple curveballs at you to deal with. First off, the enemy has prepared a trap based on actual medieval warfare called portcullis for you. If Leaf enters the yellow enclosed area before you engage the boss in combat, 2 ballista will spawn outside targeting range, and 3 gates will close in and out of the courtyard. Fred will then change into a green unit and be targeted by the enemy as he will attempt to flee to the south of the map. Secondly, there is a guidance to accomplish, one that has multiple requirements to access. You need to trigger the above trap by having Leaf enter the court before fighting the boss. This is because once Kempf has been in combat, he will immediately flee the map and the trap will not occur if you haven't already sprung it. Then, once Portcullis is activated, you need to have Fred escape alive by opening the 3 lower gates so he can hopefully flee before the ballista kill him. And lastly, you need to end the chapter in under 30 turns. A really generous time limit, but do keep it in mind. You can bring 14 units like in the previous chapter, but don't feel like it's necessary. There are few enemies to deal with and 0 reinforcements, so if you need to rest some tired units for later chapters, go ahead. Don't feel like you need to field a full army. Adding to this is that the chapter transitions inside like chapter 3, so any cavalry you bring will need to dismount. But I will recommend to bring some thieves if you can, given that opening all the gates as fast as possible is very helpful. And don't bring Karen because the ballista will just turn her into a Pegasi kebab. Unfortunately, your starting ascension will be painfully slow thanks to the 1 unit wide pathway blocked by forests. But once you get through, you'll be met with some archers and soldiers. The archers each have a killer bow that Selfie can use, but even if you aren't training her, they are worth quite a lot, so do capture them. By the way, you'll notice that the enemy armors in the courtyard seem to meander and wander at random, and you can actually lure them out by staying in any of their ranges. You do have a time limit, but taking a few turns to lure some of the armors with vulneries or door keys to steal or capture can help quite a lot before moving into the main court. By the way, you can totally move your entire army into the courtyard before springing the trap, kinda defeating the whole purpose of it, though you may want to leave someone on the outside with keys to open the southern exit quickly so Fred can escape. Speaking of Fred, he does start off as a red unit, so you can actually steal a second Thundersword from him if you have enough build. He won't need to defend himself from any enemies if you take them all out, so you may as well. Once you've dealt with the armors and have opened the gates, the chapter becomes pretty mundane, with simple enemies to deal with, but if you're hurting for axes, try to capture the armors for their poison ones that magically change to iron axes once in your inventory. The bishop also has a physics staff, so grab that too. As for the boss, he does have intimidating gear and high stats, but just poke him at range with anything and he'll hightail it at the start of the next enemy phase, allowing you to capture the throne. But before ending the chapter, open the chest in the top left for a torch staff, something that will immediately become useful since the next level is Gaiden and thus has Fog of War. Well, that was pretty short. Next time, the return of saving children to get rewards in the next chapter. See you then.